Hello everybody and welcome to Wise Exotics. I'm your host Trevor and today we'll be doing a discussion video about Nepenthes feminization. Now, for those of you not aware, feminization is a system in which you apply treatment to a male plant to cause it to obtain female characteristics. Sometimes this will fully transform the plant into a female specimen, usually though it produces hermaphrodites. That being said, this is something I had researched in hopes of trying to help with conservation means of helping certain Nepenthes that are only male and are basically functionally extinct in the wild as well as even in cultivation on some. Currently, rigidifolia, most of them have all been produced to be male. In Samadira, which is a recently described species, we only have one of them in cultivation and it is a male. Uh, just thoughts that something along the lines of ways to help or aid would be applicable to Nepenthes. And in my research, I was looking up various trees, marijuana plants, and also I did not know are male or female. So you learn as you research these type of things. Anyway, one of the results of this research, I've been talking to a few nurseries as well as private individuals, and a few of them might try some of these methods to test to see how viable they are. This is simply just explaining what the processes are, what's occurred, some of the methods being done in other species, and in hopes that this could be applicable to Nepenthes. If you'd like to try this yourself, I'm more than happy to chat with you or give you advice, but the basics is a lot of this is trial and error right now. That being said, let's get into some basics. So, currently, as of scientific journals of the last 2 years, one of the determining factors they found for a plant going male or female is typically light intensity as well as the temperature variance. So, in most of the cases for the studies that were done on a variety of species, if a plant is in a hotter climate with a lot of bright light, it was more likely to become a male. If by proxy it was in a darker climate, cooler, shadier, less intense light, it was more likely to become a female. So we established the fact that temperature range and light intensity now play a factoring role in the development of a plant to go male or female, which is rather interesting. Nepenthes can do this as well. There have actually been cases to prove that Nepenthes can, in fact, shift gender, and you might be wondering how. Well, there are natural hermaphrodites. There are also the rare occurrence of plants that have changed gender. Now, a lot of these were under various stressful and or very rapid temperature change incidents, but the resulting effects did prove that this is a natural occurrence of these plants. So, in one such case, a gentleman's plant had flowered as a male. Then, during the next week, he had a cold snap, which is where the location around the area of his greenhouse rapidly froze down to below zero. So it became very cold. Now, he had heaters and whatnot, but the temperature variance changed dramatically, even inside the greenhouse, within hopefully relatively safe means. However, the resulting factor that occurred was that week it flowered again, but this time it flowered as a female. This then proves that Nepenthes can, in fact, change their gender even within a short time span between male and female flowers. Now, typically, if a Nepenthes is a hermaphrodite, the plant will start to flower as a female, and then it'll almost self pollinate. And you're like, what happened here? Well, that's a hermaphrodite. In some cases, half the flowers will be male and the other half will be female. So there are rare occurrences of hermaphroditism within Nepenthes, and how it functions and or works can vary between specimen. That being said, you might be wondering, well, how could we apply this artificially? We already do tissue culture and other things. Is there a way to apply this to Nepenthes chemically or under other circumstances or ways? Yes. So far, when researching this, I get the idea of one of the materials from my friend Josh. He actually works with one, and it was interesting to do research on it. Uh, that one, which seems to be the most likely candidate for application to Nepenthes as it has the least impact or danger, would be colloidal silver. Now, colloidal silver, not just dumping the whole thing on, in nanoparticles applied to a flowering plant, has shown it to shift gender. Now, it doesn't shift all the way. So in the case of marijuana, where this is actually primarily used, they would spray it on the flowers of a male plant, and the plant would then emit flowers that are both male and female, allowing for self-pollinization or cross-pollinization with another hermaphrodite or male plant near it to allow for new strains or crosses that weren't prior viable or an option. A case that this could be said could be fun or rather beneficial would be to try to create super crosses or back crosses to the own plant, to the same plant. In such a case, with like say you took Veitchii Candy Dreams, sprayed on its flower, and half the flower became female because Veitchii Candy Dreams is a male, by the way. You then could pollinate Candy Dreams X Candy Dreams, which would give us a lot of possibly high striped, beautiful, dark red pictures. The downside, there might be some recessive traits, so other than for experimentation purposes or trying to produce certain recessive traits, it doesn't seem very useful. But if plants had limited populations, say as with rigidifolia or samidira, which there's only a male, you can then get an initial population out, a male and female, and then hopefully crossbreed those out to create a stable population. However, there would be recessive traits, so that's why currently Borneo Exotics is trying to find a female specimen or find someone who has a female and hopefully try to produce horticultural crosses of that type. With rigidifolia, there are only males in the wild, if there are any left in the wild, to my understanding. The last two got poached. The ones that are in cultivation mostly have flowered male. Now, the Malaysian tropics variant has randomly selected clones, so some could be female is the hope. So a lot of people are waiting for those to produce flowers and then try to do horticultural crosses, and we might see a huge explosion of rigidifolia within the cultivation sales and or availability that are seed grown. Now, that being said, the next chemical treatment that can be done is using chemical GA3. Now, this is a rather weird one. Researching this has been done in a variety of colleges and nurseries with a lot of mixed results. It does cause plants to become female and are hermaphrodites. However, it also causes some weird other traits such as leaf changes, coloration differences, some other weird factors to occur, and it does reside in the plant. So it's not as used for something that people consume or inhale, I would say, such as in the case of marijuana. I have seen that some people who do marijuana plants have also done this as well. Now, that being said, the final treatment that could be plausible would be hormonal treatment of a plant. So, say we had a male rigidifolia, if we injected female plant hormone, which per science we've already deduced what is a female hormone for plants. Same thing with rooting gel or kiki paste or crazy kiki paste, whatever you call it. Those are hormones we have artificially produced or synthesized. We could then create female plant hormone, inject it into a male plant, and it could force it to feminize to either be a female flower or at least a hermaphrodite in the case of Nepenthes. Now, that being said, I hope this has been educational or helpful. As I said, this is simply a hypothetical method of treatment, but I'm putting it out there for those who might want to try it for themselves or might want an option or, you know, something to go on to at least try. That being said, I hope for the best. Trevor out.